A story titled My Trip to Australia. This story takes place about 4.5 years ago when I was in second grade. One day when I was taking a spelling test, the phone rang, and I always crossed my fingers to hope it was me who was getting out of school. And when the teacher said, "Stephen, you're being pulled out of class," I was so happy that I was being pulled out of class. But when I got into the car, my mom said, "Stephen, we're going home." I was confused and happy. Confused because you usually get pulled out of school to go to the doctor's or a dentist, not to go home and watch TV. I was also happy about not having to do the test and being pulled out of school to watch TV. But when I said, "Why did you pull me out of school to watch TV?" and she said, "You are not watching TV." And then I said, "So why did you pull me out of school?" And then school early. And she said to talk. And then I waited to get home. And when I finally got there, my brother was standing at the front door, and she took us inside. She said our dad was already sitting on the couch, and our mom told us to sit on the couch, and we did. And then she said our dad might get promoted to work in Australia. At that point, me and my brother said no. But then our mom said it was a possibility, and we were silent, and she said, we would have to wait a while to find out if we were moving or not. And let me say, it's hard to wait if you are finding out on a trip to Australia. So we waited and waited until one day when I got home from school, our dad wasn't there. And I said, "Where's Dad?" And our mom said, "He's in Australia." And I pretended to faint. I guess she must have knew it wasn't a real faint because she said she would give my brother a bar of chocolate. And I got back up, and then we talked. And I said, "I don't want to go yet. I haven't said goodbye to anyone, and that I haven't said I was leaving." And she said that we weren't going yet, and that we were going in a few weeks to say goodbye. She said to say goodbye and finish the school year and all that stuff. That night I was so sad I barely got any sleep, and I ended up crying myself to sleep. The tears eventually went into my eyes. They were so salty, and I felt really bad for some reason. All I know is the next morning when I went to school, I told everyone I knew. They thought I was so lucky. I thought that I was so unlucky because I had to refresh myself, start over. And I really don't want to go. And I really didn't want to go, but my mom convinced me otherwise. So we finished the school year, and we packed our bags and left for Australia. When we got there, we expected it to be summer vacation, but the school schedule was different. So the school year just started. So, yeah, unlucky. When we landed, it was about 10 o'clock on my watch. By the time we got home, by the time we got to the house, we were greeted by my dad, who got used to the jet lag, so he was wide awake. Well, I was so tired. Then he said he wanted to see my watch, and I showed it to him. And he said it's right time zone. And it turns out it wasn't 10 o'clock. And I told him I thought it was 10 o'clock, and he said, "Did you not see the sun?" And then I told him not at night, in the morning. So after a week or two of settling and buying some stuff, we went to school. I thought it would be a lot better than it was. First, it started like at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I was a crab on land. Second, you had to wear a school uniform. But after a while, things started to go smoother. A few weeks, but then I ran out of school, and I got suspended. It wasn't fun. And then before you knew it, the year was over, and the new year came, and we had to move to another house. It had like a basement, and if you know Australia, you know there's a lots of mean critters. And we got a 30-minute lecture on where and where not to go. And one of those first things that shipped was my scooter. So I took it for a ride, and there was a hill. So I went down that. So I went down the hill. And our next door neighbors came out and rode with us. After about 5 minutes, I guess we thought the same thing. And that was a race. And we did it. I lost. And then we introduced ourselves. And then we said we would meet at his house at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We did, and that went on for a long time. And before you knew it, it was time to move back. So we said our goodbyes and took some pictures. We were supposed to leave on Thursday, but we missed the plane because we were packing and left the next day. We decided to make one last clubhouse with our friends for remembrance, and I was pretty sad about leaving. But then I remembered how sad I was when I was leaving the USA, and then I remembered remembered all about my friends and how happy it would be to see them again. When I woke up, so I went to bed. When I woke up, I was in the car heading toward the airport, and I realized I was on my way to America. And I didn't know what was going to happen next.